Get set, go!
Now understand, we had never practiced before, and we're rowing for the first time. My hobby's sailing. I like to race sailboats, and you try to hit the starting line full speed ahead at the gun, which we did, and for one magic moment we were ahead, and then it was just sheer drudgery.
It was truly inspiring. This group of folks who average age 88, oldest paddler 97, who built their own boat out of milk cartons and had no fear. I was overcome with emotion, and I think everyone around me was too. And in fact, I made new friends that day because there were people who had never heard of Bayview and were so enthralled and captivated by what our residents were doing. They were cheering us on. You would have thought they had family members at Bayview or that they were somehow connected to Bayview, but they were just so moved.
Come on, guys! Come on, Bayview!
When the going got tough, they refused to give up, refused. And we were really worried about people with health conditions. And my 15-year-old daughter was with me, and for her to see that courage and that spirit and that we're not going to fail, we are going to do this. I can think of a greater life lesson.
Good for Bayview Retirement Home. That's the old folks right there. That's the retirement home. Oh, look at the clowns.
I think there were a lot of people who thought, residents too, this isn't going to happen. So let's go along with it. I really do. I think that it was suddenly, for a long time I thought, oh, well, this isn't really, you didn't know that. You may have known it, but you didn't. But, there's so many aspects, there's so many hurdles that unless there's some real determination, it's just going to fall apart, like so many things do.
Baby looks like it's sinking.
In this nonprofit category, we've got the American Boating Club of Tours, Bayview Boaters, Seafair Clowns. Go Bayview!
Go Bayview!
My family, including my daughter and a granddaughter and a granddaughter's husband, were all there, and they didn't want anything to happen to Grandma. And so they were really relieved that I was taken off the boat, I think. But I walked along the shore and followed the boat and saw them get to the finish.
You said that later on, that deep down inside the administration never thought we'd do it. They just kind of humor us.
I really don't think they did until the very end. Yeah.
And I think a lot of folks didn't think we'd do it either.
But I think everyone actually all of our children and grandchildren were not quite sure when it looked like it really, really was going to happen. So Flo's children weren't the only ones who were concerned with their parents and grandparents who were on this boat. My family wanted to help take care of me, and they didn't say in so many words that they really thought that I should give up driving and do all these things. There was these sort of hints, and I remember saying, I'll tell you when I want help. And so I think that this takeaway is that's fine. I'll ask for help when I feel I'm old enough to need help. But until I'm old enough to need help, I'm going to make the decision for myself. And I just think that this helped sort of solidify that that it doesn't really matter how old you are, it's what you want to do and what you can do.
Row, row, row our boat quaintly across Green Lake. Merrily, 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 we score for heaven's sake.
We'll just do Bayview. How's that? Yeah, let's do that one. Bayview, 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 Bayview.
I love our folks so much, and so it was, and as a parent, it was kind of the experience like that of seeing my kids out there. I was so proud. It was like a Hollywood moment where you think it's going to end in tragedy, and it ends in triumph. And it didn't matter that they didn't win that heat. The triumph was in the doing, and the fact that they did it, they made it, they floated, they...
I vomited.
Oh, you did?
Right over the side of the boat as we landed. Wouldn't you know it?
Do you feel better now?
I feel wonderful.
It was the most fun I've had for a long, long time. It was just great, in spite of the terrible wound which still has not healed, and in spite of being exhausted and everything. It was wonderful.
Bayview, 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 Bayview.
Because I've been sitting during this whole operation, I could barely stand. But I finally got up on 2 feet and staggered off the dock, and I don't know how they got that boat out of the water. I have no idea. Eventually came on back to Bayview, took a shower, because I needed it.
Bayview, 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 Bayview.
Now for my next act.
I think just the enthusiasm, the energy that they possessed was really awesome.
Bayview, Bayview, Bayview.
We finally make it across the finish line. And I'm a little embarrassed because we're so far behind. And there's this people from Bayview yelling, Bayview, Bayview. And then Nancy comes up and says it was inspirational. And Jan comes up and I thought, huh? And then I realized that the perception was that we reconstituted the crew. We're like the phoenix rising from the ashes and did something great. And then for me, it was just, at least we finished.
Well, and then, see, in a way, I find that amazing. I find that amazing that people are looking at that and saying, oh, that's so inspirational. You know, really, why should it be inspirational? Just because you have so many years added to your life, that suddenly it's inspirational that you're able to do something. And so I don't see it like that it's a marvelous, wonderful, different thing. I think it just depends on what you want to do and what you can do, and you should just do it.
We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. These fractious times are fractious here in our little retirement community, but in an event like this, it broke through everybody's politics, everybody's faith, anything that might keep people apart. It just broke right through them, brought everybody together. And I know our folks are working on designs for next year's entry, and I suspect there are a few retirement communities now that are going to be giving us some competition.
In fact, I already have a new design. It would be a much more stable configuration. There'd be only one way to get on, and it would be directly to your seat. You would have to cross open water to get from one position to another.
And if you're old enough, it doesn't really matter, you know, what people think. And I think that is why it was fun. It didn't matter, you know. Didn't matter if they think we were crazy.
No.
It did not matter.
That's one of the liberating things about getting older is you know, you don't have to worry about stuff like that. So anyway, first week in December, I had an attack of vertigo, and I got really dizzy. The room was spinning around, and Mary came in, and my blood pressure, my heart rate was way down. So she called a nurse, and my blood pressure was way up, my heart rate was way down. So I called my primary care, and they said, go to the emergency room. So Mary took me. And I'm lying there in the emergency room, and they did an MRI, and they did a CAT scan, and I'm thinking of all the things that could be, that I had no control over. It could be a life-changing event. And I thought of what Tennessee Williams once wrote, life is a 3-act play, and the 3rd act is poorly written. And I thought, well, maybe I could rewrite the 3rd act a little bit, and I looked at Mary, and a song went through my head, and it was, Mary B., will you marry me? Mary B., will you marry me? Even little children love Mary B., so do I, will you marry me? All of a sudden I realized, you know, that there's more to life, and she was a big part of mine, and I just really enjoyed being with her.